It's not the silence that messes with you the most. It's what happens after the silence. Because you'll be doing fine. Not perfect, but steady. You'll go a couple days without checking your phone every 10 minutes. You'll start cooking again, sleeping a little better. You'll even catch yourself laughing at something and thinking, okay, maybe I'm not as hooked as I was. And then he comes back. Not with an apology, not with a clear explanation, just a little knock at the door of your attention. A "Hey, stranger," a meme, a "You good?" Or the one that always sounds innocent but never is. "Been thinking about you." That's the moment most women misread. Because it feels like the universe just corrected itself. Like the warm version of him is back. Like the connection wasn't fake. It was just complicated. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A man doesn't come back because he finally realized your value. A lot of the time, he comes back because your absence finally became real. And that's a different motive. Picture the scene. It's Thursday night. You're in bed. The room is dark except for your screen. You're not even texting anyone, just scrolling. Half numb, half proud you didn't double text him this time. Then your phone lights up, his name, and your body reacts before your mind can catch up. Your stomach drops, your chest tightens, your fingers get cold. Not because you're in love, because the pattern trained you. You open it like you're trying not to care, but your thumb is already hovering, already rewriting your dignity in real time. And here's the part you don't say out loud. The message isn't even that good. It's not deep. It's not clear. It's not, "I'm sorry I disappeared," but it's him, and he's back. So your brain starts filling in the blanks like it's its job. Maybe he was overwhelmed. Maybe he missed me. Maybe he needed space and now he's ready. Maybe he's different now. You became scarce, and scarcity makes people check the shelf. That's the moment. Because when someone ignores you, you start thinking the power is in them. Like they decide when you're important, when you're worth effort, when you're allowed to feel chosen. But when he comes back, it flips. Now he's reacting to your absence, to the fact that you didn't chase, to the fact that the emotional supply went quiet. And the reason this matters is because it changes what coming back actually means. It doesn't automatically mean he's returning with intention. Sometimes it just means he's returning to see if the door is still unlocked. And if you answer too fast, too warm, too grateful, you don't just reply to a text. You teach him something. You teach him that ignoring you has no real cost, that he can disappear, reset, and still have access to you, that you will do the emotional work of making his inconsistency feel like a love story. That's why this moment is dangerous. Not because you're weak, because it hits you right where you've been trying to heal, your sense of reality. And the central question underneath all of it is simple. Is he coming back to choose you? Or is he coming back to make sure he still has you? Because those two things feel similar at first. They both arrive as a notification. They both make your heart jump. They both sound like possibility. But only one of them leads somewhere real. When he comes back, your mind doesn't treat it like a text. It treats it like a verdict, like something just got proven. Because while he was gone, you weren't just missing him. You were silently arguing with yourself. Was I too much? Did I say something wrong? Maybe he realized I'm not that special. Maybe I embarrassed myself by caring. So when he reappears, it feels like the argument ends. Not because he explained anything, but because his presence feels like confirmation. You think, okay, he does care. He wouldn't reach out if he didn't feel something. He's not done with me. And that's the trap. Because what you wanted wasn't attention. You wanted meaning. You wanted the kind of love that doesn't make you guess. The kind of connection that doesn't vanish, then act casual. The kind of man who shows up the same way on Tuesday morning as he does on Saturday night. But when you've been ignored, you get starved. And when you're starved, crumbs feel like a meal. Here's a real scene. You're out with a friend. You're trying to be present. She's talking and you're nodding. You're smiling at the right parts, but your phone is face up on the table like a little altar. You told yourself you wouldn't look. You told yourself you're done. And you meant it, right up until that vibration hits. You pick it up fast, like you're casual, but your friend sees it. She always sees it. And you read his message, and your whole mood changes. Not because he said something beautiful, because he restored your hope. You start thinking about outfits again, about what you'll say, about how you'll keep it chill this time so you don't scare him off. You start editing yourself before he even asks. And the emotional consequence is subtle but brutal. The moment he returns, your nervous system stops being yours. It becomes his schedule again. You thought his comeback meant progress, like the relationship was moving forward after a pause. But what it often means is something else. The cycle is restarting. Hot, cold, hot again. And the hot part feels so good, not because it's healthy, but because it relieves the ache of the cold. That's why it's addictive. Because his return doesn't just bring him back. It brings back the version of you who believes this could finally turn into something real. So you start treating his message like a doorway. Like if you walk through it the right way, not too eager, not too distant, just perfectly balanced, you can finally earn consistency from an inconsistent man. You tell yourself, maybe he needed space. Maybe he got scared. Maybe he's not good at expressing things. Maybe he's been hurt before. And listen, sometimes those things are true. But here's the strong truth in this block. A man's wounds do not excuse the way he handles your heart. If he ignores you, then returns like nothing happened, and you accept that as normal. You're not building a relationship. You're adjusting your standards to fit his comfort. And that's what you thought it meant. That his comeback was a second chance. A sign. A step closer. But the real question is still sitting underneath all of it, waiting to be answered. Is he coming back to build something? Or is he coming back because he misses the access? Because a man can miss you without respecting you. He can crave you without choosing you. He can want your energy without wanting your life. And if you mistake craving for commitment, you'll keep getting the same story with different pauses. Here's what usually stings the most when you finally see it clearly. A lot of men don't come back because they changed. They come back because something went quiet. Your attention went quiet. Your softness went quiet. That little door he was used to pushing open whenever he felt like it suddenly wasn't opening by itself. And when that happens, it doesn't always feel like heartbreak for him. It feels like withdrawal. Let me show you what it looks like in real life. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon. He's on the couch, phone in his hand. Not emotional, not dramatic, just restless. He's been scrolling, half bored, half looking for something to land on, something easy. And then he notices it. You didn't react to his story. You stopped watching his. You didn't send that "you okay" message this time. You didn't do the thing you used to do. So his brain starts doing this quiet little math. Why is she so quiet? Is she mad? Did she move on? Is there someone else? And suddenly, you're interesting again. Not because you became more valuable overnight, but because you became uncertain. You became scarce. And scarcity does something to people. It creates tension. It creates curiosity. It makes them reach, especially the ones who were comfortable when you were guaranteed. That's where hot and cold behavior gets misunderstood, because sometimes it's not confusion at all. Sometimes it's a pattern, a habit, a strategy he doesn't even call a strategy. He knows how to disappear. He knows how to return. He knows how to drop a little message that pulls you back into orbit. And the return usually has a very specific shape. He doesn't come back with clarity. He comes back with a vibe. He doesn't say, "I disappeared and that wasn't fair." He says, "Hey you, what you been up to?" He doesn't address the gap. He acts like the gap wasn't real. And that right there is the tell. Because when a man respects you, he doesn't treat silence like a reset button. He knows time matters. He knows disappearing costs something. So if he returns like nothing happened, it often means he's expecting you to do the emotional cleanup for him. He's expecting you to swallow the confusion, to act cool, to act easy, to act like you weren't affected. And the problem is, you try. You answer with a soft tone while your chest is tight. You type like you don't care while your heart is already running ahead. You pretend it's casual, but your body is back in that familiar state, waiting for the next drop. Because every time you accept a sloppy return, your heart learns a dangerous lesson. It starts believing that love is inconsistent, that love disappears, that love comes back only when it feels like it, that waiting is normal. No, that's not love. That's access mixed with entitlement. Now, I'm not saying every man who comes back is a monster. Sometimes he genuinely misses you. But missing you is not the same as being ready for you. Missing you is a feeling. Choosing you is a decision. And a lot of the time, what's really happening is simple. He likes the version of you that gives him comfort without demanding growth. He likes the warmth, the attention, the girlfriend energy, as long as it doesn't come with expectation. So when you became scarce, when you stopped making yourself easy to reach, he felt the difference. And he came back to see if the old access still worked. Here's the insight that moves you forward. His return isn't proof of love. It's proof that your absence created impact. And impact can go two ways. A man who's serious will use it to step up with clarity, with consistency, with ownership. A man who isn't will use it to pull you back into the same loop and call it reconnecting. So don't get hypnotized by the fact that he returned. Watch what his return costs him. If it costs him nothing, no apology, no accountability, no change, then it isn't commitment. It's convenience. The hardest part isn't that he ignored you. It's what it trained you to accept. Because after enough hot and cold, you stop measuring a man by character. You start measuring him by weather. Is he warm today? Is he distant today? Is he back in his good mood version? And you call that love. Real life scene. You're getting ready in the mirror. Not for a date. Not for him. Just for your day. But your phone is on the counter. And every few seconds, your eyes flick to it like it's a pulse monitor. You hate that you're doing it. You're a grown woman. You have things to do. You've handled harder situations than this. But your body doesn't care what you know. Your body learned silence means danger. A message means relief. Relief means hope. Hope means don't mess this up. So you start moving different. You post a story and pretend it's casual, but you're watching who views it. You reply in a way that feels light, even when you want to be direct. You wait exactly the right amount of time to respond so you don't look too available, while still being available. And that's the emotional consequence. You begin to abandon yourself in small, polite ways. Not dramatically, not like a movie, just in tiny edits. You stop saying, "That hurt." You stop asking, "Where did you go?" You stop expecting him to be accountable, because you learned that accountability might make him disappear again. So you shrink your truth to keep his attention, and it messes with your dignity, because you can feel it happening in real time. You'll catch yourself smiling at a message that doesn't deserve a smile. You'll catch yourself forgiving a return that didn't earn forgiveness. You'll catch yourself feeling grateful for basic decency. And then comes the worst part. When he does show up, when he's sweet again, you feel guilty for ever being upset. You tell yourself, maybe I was overreacting. Maybe he's trying. Maybe I should just enjoy it. So you enjoy it, but you can't relax in it, because somewhere in you, you're waiting for the drop. That's what intermittent attention does to a woman. It doesn't just break her heart. It rewires her standards. It turns a calm, steady woman into someone who calls anxiety chemistry. It turns peace into boring, because peace doesn't spike the nervous system. It turns consistency into something you don't trust, because you've been trained to expect a twist. And that's why his return hits so hard. Not because he's amazing, but because your system has been starving, then fed, then starving again. So when the food appears, you forget how hungry you were last week. Here's the strong truth. A man who disappears and returns without repair is not complicated. He is creating a situation where you work harder for less. And over time, it changes how you see yourself. You start thinking you're hard to love, too intense, too emotional, too needy, when in reality, you're reacting normally to instability. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking the wrong man. Forward-moving insight. The damage isn't only the time you wasted. It's the way your heart starts negotiating for basics. And that's why this topic matters. Because if you don't name what it did to you, you'll keep interpreting his returns as hope, when they're really just resets. Let me tell you the real reason he comes back after ignoring you. It's not always love. It's not always regret. It's not always some deep realization. Sometimes, it's control. Not control like a villain. Control like a man who feels calmer when he knows you're still there. Because when you're available, he can relax. He can drift. He can take you for granted and still feel wanted. But when you become scarce, when you stop feeding the loop, he feels a gap. And that gap hits his pride. It hits his comfort. It hits the part of him that liked having you on standby. So he returns to fix his feeling, not to fix what he did to you. Real life scene. It's late. Your phone lights up. His name again. And maybe you don't reply right away this time. Maybe you leave it on read. Maybe you put the phone down and breathe. And you notice something. You're not excited. You're tense. Because you already know what happens if you answer. If you answer warm, he relaxes. If he relaxes, he fades. If he fades, you ache. If you ache, you reach. And suddenly, you're back in the role you promised yourself you were done playing. So you sit there with the simplest, most grown woman question on earth. If he wanted me, why did he make it so hard? And here's the real truth. He comes back because he wants access without consequence. And he only changes when access becomes expensive. That's it. Not expensive like money. Expensive like accountability. Like clarity. Like consistent effort. Like showing up even when it's not convenient. A man who genuinely wants you doesn't reappear. He returns with repair. He says, I handled that wrong. He says, I disappeared, and I understand what that did to you. He says, If I'm in your life, I'm in it properly. And most importantly, he backs it up. Not for 2 days, not for a cute weekend, for weeks, for months. Long enough that your nervous system can unclench. But the man who comes back to reset the loop? He avoids the one thing that would make it real. A conversation with weight. He doesn't want to name the damage because naming the damage would create a standard. And a standard would mean he can't disappear again without losing something. So he keeps it light, he jokes, he flirts, he acts like time didn't happen. And if you accept that, you become the kind of woman he can return to forever, without ever arriving. Now listen to me closely, because this is where your dignity lives. Your power isn't in making him stay. Your power is in what you require for him to have access. If he ignored you, and then came back like nothing happened, the move isn't to punish him. The move is to protect your reality. You don't need a dramatic speech. You need a clean standard. Something like, "Hey, I'm not available for on and off. If you want to talk to me, it needs to be consistent and respectful." And then you watch. Not what he promises, what he does. Because if he disappears again after you set a standard, that wasn't a misunderstanding. That was him choosing convenience over you. And here's the final forward-moving insight. The one that breaks the spell. When you became scarce, you didn't lose him. You revealed him. You revealed how he behaves when you stop making it easy. You revealed whether he values you, or just the way you make him feel. You revealed whether he can meet a woman with standards, or only a woman with patience. So yes, he came back. But I don't want you to confuse a message with a miracle, because your life doesn't change just because a man returns. Your life changes when you stop letting a return rearrange your self-worth. And listen, if you've been through this loop more than once, I need you to hear something with kindness. You weren't stupid. You weren't too much. You weren't weak for hoping. You were attached to the version of him that felt safe for a moment. You were loyal to the potential. You were trying to make something real out of something that kept slipping. That says you can love. That says you can commit. That says your heart knows how to stay. It just stayed in a place that didn't protect it. So don't walk away from this feeling ashamed. Walk away clearer. Because clarity is relief. Clarity is you finally getting your mind back. It's you being able to breathe without waiting for a notification to tell you you're okay. And if you're at the point where you're tired, good. Not tired like, I give up on love. Tired like, I'm done paying for inconsistency with my peace. That's not bitterness, that's growth. So here's what I hope you take with you tonight. If he comes back, you don't have to rush. You don't have to prove you're chill. You don't have to earn basic respect by being low maintenance. You can be soft and still be firm. You can care and still have boundaries. You can miss him and still protect yourself. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll look back and realize the biggest shift wasn't that he came back. It was that you stopped needing him too. Because you learned the difference between being wanted and being chosen. And you deserve to be chosen in a way that lets your body relax. Not a love that keeps you guessing. A love that feels steady in your chest. A love that doesn't punish you with silence. So take a breath. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just waking up. And that's a beautiful place to start.